you want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Not out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Band and Scoop. Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit. Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 33, which is also the number of revolutions per minute plotted in Parlor, just a third less than it takes to properly spin an LP. Joining us at the end of the show for our Groovin' After Party will be our very special guest, Jasen Southward from the Human Dads podcast, sharing his own personal musical journey with a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer? We spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is Ralph's Records in Lubbock, Texas, a longtime favorite of our good buddy Lyle Jones. You can follow them on Twitter at Ralph's Records TX, on Instagram at Ralph's Records, and you can check out their website at ralphsrecordstx.com. Our first band is a Stockholm-based collective called Viagra Boys, who make a very unusual sound on their brand new 2021 album Welfare Jazz, including this lead track Ain't Nice on Bend and Scoop. That's the relentlessly prolific Robert Pollard with yet another great side project, Cub Scout Bowling Pins, and the title track from their upcoming record, Heaven Beats Iowa. Apparently, Heaven was originally scheduled to play Iowa State, but too many Cyclone players tested positive for COVID, so the Hawkeyes had to step up and fill in. On the latest episode of Plausible Deniability, the podcast I host with my pal David Miller, we discuss our favorite TV shows of 2020. So give us a listen and see how close we come to matching your list. You can follow Plausible Deniability on both Twitter and Instagram at PauseDeny. The Hold Steady have a new album coming out in February called Open Door Policy. So to tide you over until then, here's one from their frontman Craig Finn off his 2017 solo album, We All Want the Same Things. I'm not so sure that's true these days. Anyway, this one's called $90 on Bend and Scoop.
90 bucks. 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 90 pop off in a paper cup. It's like she's trying to burn her insides clean. She shimmers like some gasoline, all smoke and shaky hands. Shuts the shades and hits me with her plan. Go back and get certified, X-ray check and MRIs. Stick with it and finally see it through. I'm sick of all this wilderness, the businessmen on business trips. Distance goes beyond the rate and time. But school don't start till early fall. I went ahead and made a call. Sometimes I can push ahead, some nights the wheels just spin. Nathan, you're my only friend. Nathan, you're my only friend. Well, Caesar's in a car right now. He says he isn't far right now. I'm sure when he shows up, he'll be so pissed. Cause credit's something he don't do. Cash is king and 3 for 2. I seen him use his hands to make a fist. I know that I've been in and out. Connections they get frayed and fraught, clouded with a million little lies. The medication sometimes works, the drinking probably doesn't help. The shepherd should still love the lambs he's lost. Cause the flock can wander from his eyes. The hills are huge, the valley's wide. The traffic on the 405, the way these wheels just spin. Nathan, you're my only friend. Nathan, you're my only friend. $90, get your coat, give me a hug. Now it's probably time for you to leave. Go back to your little house, your driveway and your pull-out couch, and come back at the same time in a week. The lamb can wander from the flock in shopping malls and parking lots. Sometimes the shepherd brings them back, some nights the wheels just spin. Nathan, you're my only friend. 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 Nathan, you're my only friend.
Now, there's a couple of questions that I have to ask you. They're a little personal. Have you ever been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor? That's robbery, rape, car theft, that sort of thing.
Convicted?
Yeah. No.
Never convicted.
That's good. Good. Are either of you homosexuals?
You mean like flaming or?
Well, it's a standard question we have to ask.
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
Yeah, would they send us someplace special?
table with cards to be dealt, and a show where the whole front row is taking pictures of itself. And the man, your old friend, turned the night on a 10 like the time was a bottomless well. But you grabbed me and said, come on back from the ledge for a spell. You can tell by the laugh in the dark and the sound of the bell. You can tell it's a nucleus burning inside of the cell. It's a nucleus burning inside of the cell. It's a nucleus burning inside of the cell. It's a nucleus burning inside of the cell.
That was Milwaukee from the self-titled 2014 album by The Both, aka the unlikely yet fantastic duo of Amy Mann and Ted Leo. I'd sure love them to do another record together someday because that one was really great. Another podcast I'm part of is called Campfire Songs, where I get together with my buddies Tom, Jim, and Todd to share and discuss a couple of songs each. Follow us on Twitter at SongsCampfire and give us a listen. Speaking of songs, remember to be sure and check out our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist. If we played it and they have it, you can listen to it there. I don't play nearly as much soul music here as I should, so I'm going to try to rectify that by spinning a smooth twofer, starting with Aaron Fraser from his 2020 debut album, Introducing, produced by Dan Arbach of the Black Keys. This is Ride With Me on Bend and Scoop.
There's a new day dawn. you'd like to win it, get your postcard mailed this minute. The in-car, the Mustang GT, the prize in Boss Radio's Magic Key Contest. Mail your postcard to Magic Key, Box 38130, Hollywood.
You shouldn't care what didn't happen. It's only time that feels is passing. When the lights go down, we're dancing. You need to come a little closer, closer to me, to me. There is something I've been trying. I wanna hold you like I'm dying. I got a way to keep you smiling. You need to come a little closer, closer to me, and you'll see. I want you, need you here with me. I want you, need you here with me. Look at you, I see a mirror. Everything you say, I hear ya. All my thoughts are never clearer. If you wanna come closer, go right next to me, to me. Yeah. There is no need understanding. On the floor we're still dancing, and you know it's about to happen. If you wanna come closer, get right next to me, and you'll see. Well, I want you, need you here with me. I want you, need you here with me. What else can I say? There's nobody like you. Nobody like you. It happens every day when I'm thinking of you. You take my breath away. It happens every day. Every day, yeah. I want you, need you here with me. 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 I want you, need you here with me.
Closing out our smooth twofer of soul is that slappin' track from 2020's Vintage League Music Family album Volume 1 by Alan Evans called Here With Me. Have you ever wanted to host a podcast? Well, all you have to do to join the mic hunt and host your very own episode of Assume the Juxtaposition is send me your topic idea to lukewarmtallboy@gmail.com. You can follow Assume the Juxtaposition on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at AssumeTJPod. Don't forget, if you enjoy listening to what we do here on Bend and Scoop, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. The Cactus Blossoms are siblings from Minneapolis, whose harmonies are very reminiscent of the Everly Brothers. Off their 2019 album Easy Way, here's Please Don't Call Me Crazy on Bend and Scoop.
Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual. But now I know why I have always lost women to guys like you. I mean, it's not just the uniform, it's the stories that you tell. So much fun and imagination. Lee Harvey, you are a madman. When you stole that cow and your friend tried to make it with the cow, I want to party with you, cowboy.
I was blind,
I'm not sure how you spell banquet, but that indie supergroup featuring members of Midlake, Band of Horses, Franz Ferdinand, Granddaddy, and Travis spells it BNQT, and that's from their 2017 album Volume 1, with a song called LA on My Mind. The very first podcast I was ever a part of is still going strong today, called How Many, where my buddies Jesse, Junior, Gary, and Scott discuss and debate a variety of pop culture topics, including movies, sports, TV, music, and more. You can follow How Many on Twitter at How Many Podcast, and you can listen at howmanypodcast.com. Don't forget to stick around for the end of the show, when we'll be joined in the Groovin' After Party by our very special guest, Jasen Southward from the Human Dads podcast. Another retro genre making a resurgence is yacht rock, as executed brilliantly by bands such as this next one, Young Gun Silver Fox, with this track from their 2020 album Canyons called Kids on Bend and Scoop.
Once, not so long ago, pop music meant rock and roll, something for teenagers to dance to. Then, early in this decade, many of America's youth stopped dancing. They took up guitars and began singing of runaway slaves, of the nation's railroads, and of the green hills of Kentucky. Quickly, however, the lure of this idealized United States grew thin. It became clear that the youth of the 60s must write its own songs, culled from its own experience, reflecting its own environment. Lyrics increased in importance. Social, political, and philosophical issues comprised the substance of pop music. Young performers became the acknowledged legislators of the soul. And this soul to which they appealed no longer belonged only to the sensitive young. but to the middle-aged as well. Therefore, it is with consummate satisfaction KHJ Radio proudly presents Simon and Garfunkel in concert Friday night at the Hollywood Bowl.
Everyone grows old on the go, 'cause it takes a lot of hope to grieve. Everyone gets dark, and the worst part is the way those thoughts can please you. Personality, like a split screen, see yourself down your knees. Hold out your hand, hold out your hand, darling. Hold out your hand, say please. Everyone gives up, down on hard luck, on hope ain't enough, it seems. Everyone gets lost in their own fog, have to wander on with lantern dreams. Say please, please, just say something. Speak up, please, if it's what you're looking for. Hold out your hand, hold out your hand, darling. Hold out your hand, say please. Hold out your hand, hold out your hand, darling. Hold out your hand, say please.
That was Say Please by our third indie supergroup of the episode, Monsters of Folk, featuring Jim James from My Morning Jacket, Will Johnson from Centromatic, Connor Oberst from Bright Eyes, and ethereal troubadour extraordinaire M. Ward. They're kind of like an indie traveling Wilburys. As unfortunate as all the recent political turmoil has been, one thing it has done is really shown us people's true stripes.
You're a bum, and that's all you'll ever be, a bum.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job? Personal problems got you down.
You can't go! All the plants are gonna die! I've lost my job, my apartment, my car, and my girlfriend.
Well, the Army can turn your life around.
Before I knew it, she was walking next to me, singing, do I did it, dum, did it, do.
Join a whole new breed of professionals.
Oh my God, mama!
Learn what it's like to feel like a man. Get your body into incredible shape. Master important career skills.
What are you gonna do with that?
This and this.
And represent your country in foreign lands.
Chicago! Gang, gang!
So if you're a man who likes to take charge of your own life,
You're different! You're weird! You're a mutant! You're a killer! You're a trained killer! You're a lean, mean, violent machine! I'll do it!
this looks like your kind of challenge,
Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom.
So am I to understand that you men completed your training on your own?
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
join the wackiest group
Dazzle, dazzle!
that ever put on a uniform.
Gentlemen, this is the EM-50, Urban Assault Vehicle.
And ride with them as they blunder across borders.
Hey, Louis, get this thing moving. Come on.
You're dangerous, you know that? All right, steady, steady, steady.
We got one heavily armed recreational vehicle here, man.
Oh, this is interesting.
Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom.
There she was, just walking down the street singing. Snapping her fingers and shuffling her feet, singing. She looked good. She looked fine. She looked good. She looked fine, and I nearly lost my mind before I knew it. She was walking next to me, singing. Holding my hand, just as natural as can be, singing. We walked on to my door. We walked on to my door. Then we kissed a little more. I knew we were falling in love. Yes, I did, and so I told her all the things I've been dreaming of. She looked good. She looked fine. She looked good. She looked fine, and I nearly lost my mind. Now we're together nearly every single day, singing. We're so happy, and that's how we're gonna stay, singing. Well, I'm hers. She's mine. I'm hers, she's mine. Wedding bells are gonna chime. I knew we were falling in love. Yes, I did, and so I told her all the things I've been dreaming of. Now we're together nearly every single day, singing. We're so happy, and that's how we're gonna stay, singing. Well, I'm hers, she's mine. I'm hers, she's mine. Wedding bells are gonna chime.
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me now for our Groovin' After Party here on Ben and Scoop is my good pal, Jasen Southward from the Human Dads podcast. Welcome, Jason.
Bob, thanks for having me. Can I just say how soothing your voice is? You have you have an NPR tone to it. I very much enjoy it.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that, and I'll Venmo you immediately after we're done, whatever denomination you're accepting these days.
Dar,
yes. I think Dar only goes through on the Cash App, but we'll see. This is the first time we've been on the air together since the Fox 4 Sports Sunday appearance 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, however long ago it was. That was fun. We got to see Cliff Harris.
Yeah, you and I are just used to doing TV, and so it's nice for us to change medium here.
We're slumming it on low-rated, unlistened to podcasts. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was my first and only TV experience, and that was with the great Deuce.
Yes, he was very genial. He was a lovely host.
We got to meet some great people over there. That was a fun time. Reminds me of, you remember the days where we used to get to hang out with people and do things outside of our homes? Do you remember those times, Bob?
Pre-COVID?
Yeah.
I do vaguely remember being able to venture outside the house without baining my face up. But yes, but I think those days are going to be returning soon. We've got a vaccine or multiple vaccines, and I think things are about to start coming up Millhouse here pretty soon. So
yeah, I hope so. Do you have anything special that you want to do the second that you're able to get out of the house? What's the first event that you want to partake in?
After streaking the quad?
Of course.
I would just like to go to a concert, like a live show, you know. I actually have been to one since COVID started. A buddy of mine is in the noted DFW area 70s yacht rock cover band, the Captain and Camille. He's the bass player. And so they had a gig at Legacy Hall a couple months back, and they had it very socially distanced out. It's kind of a semi-outdoor venue, and I braved it all and tried to go sell it out for Texas. So
I'm with you. I would love to be able to sit at a concert and listen to some music. You know, I'm not normally a huge concert guy. I do love music, but concerts for me as a man of size are generally uncomfortable. Bob, I don't know if you...
Yes, I'm a man of size.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm less size than I used to be, but still more size than most. So
yeah, shoulder to shoulder. I'm 6'3", so people are struggling to look over me, and I feel uncomfortable, and I'm very self-conscious. And at one point, I'll probably get down on my knees, and then I can't see. It's all a huge mess. But I do love the music, so I look forward to that again soon.
Yeah, I'm always a back of the room guy. I'm always worried I'm blocking somebody's view, whether it's in a classroom, in a venue, wherever it is. I just feel like I need to be behind everybody.
Yeah, it's you, me, and the great Dallas socialite John Daniel in the back of every concert.
Oh my God. Yeah, Big John Daniel. I think he's even taller than I am.
He
like
is.
6'6", 6'7".
He's a huge dude. And you've probably seen him if you've ever gone to any concert.
Oh
Dallas.
Yeah. You mean the fake Eric Nadel? Oh yeah, I've
Yes.
seen him out and about many times. Oh, good dude. He is a very good dude. So tell us a little bit about Human Dads and, you know, having a podcast that I wasn't asked to be a part of. This is very exciting to
Well,
I'm
first
just
of all,
kidding, buddy.
You were
I'm
the
just
first
kidding.
option. You were the first option, but you have ridiculous demands as it relates.
Yeah, I had a
to
non-compete. I'm already on 5 different podcasts.
Yeah.
I had to cut myself off.
He does.
No,
he
I'm
has-
serious. I'm just kidding. I'm having fun with you, buddy. We're having fun, no?
We are having fun.
I'm a big
Yeah,
jerk.
you are a
come on
big
my
jerk.
podcast. Try to help me.
Yeah, Human Dads is just a fun little deal that myself and Brad and Rylan Rowe started, I don't know, on and off about a year ago. And then we decided that it was kind of fun to do, which is not normal for me because typically I get bored with things very quickly, Bob. But I enjoy the podcast.
I am impressed that you guys had enough funding left in the talent and the salary pool after shooting your wad on the logo budget. So
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We have multiple sponsors. The city of Mesquite sponsors us, and no, we don't have any sponsors. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And as the name suggests, it's a podcast with 3 dudes who are dads, and we talk about dad stuff. And my dad, Earl.
Now, which of you has the most kids? It's got to be you, right? Don't you have like 7?
I'm in the lead with kids. Yeah, I've got 3, and the other 2 are just dealing with 2 kids. So I am in the lead, but I also don't plan to expand on that lead ever. So there's a good chance. You never know with those.
Now,
2.
are all of y'all's kids about roughly the same age range?
So two of mine are sort of in the same range with both of theirs, but mine, I have one older. I have a 12-year-old, so I sort of bring a little bit of wisdom. Yeah, I have a tween, and that's a different animal, Bob, as you know. Tweens are special and different, and they have to be dealt with in a very particular way. And so I'm able to.
Girl?
It's a tween boy, thankfully.
Okay. You're fortunate on that front. My experience with tweens is that I became a stepfather of a girl who was 11 at the time.
Right.
So I got to, having had 2 boys, 3 nephews, it was all boys all the time. And it's like, we're going to introduce you to raising a girl, but we're going to give you the added bonus of jumping in right at 11.
Yeah, as if it's not hard enough.
We're going to up the challenge level. The degree of difficulty is going to be increased exponentially.
Kids are something, to say the least. So yeah, I will be honest with you, for those of your listeners that go out and decide they want to check the podcast out.
You don't need to pluralize that, Jason. I mean,
well, I'm a listener. I'm a loyal listener.
Okay.
So it's definitely certainly not parenting centric. We sort of go off the rails, talk about everything from the 80s to sometimes we talk about just what it's like to be a guy, losing your hair, whatever it may be. But it's fun. Like I said, it's just 3 guys talking, which I guess most podcasts are these days, but it's been fun.
How often do you usually put out episodes? Weekly, monthly? Do you have kind of a set schedule, or just whenever you can get together?
Yeah, we've started doing this weekly. We're on a good cadence here. We've got we're spitting out content left and right, really trying to get to that point where we're super famous and making a bunch of money. It's not working out so far, and it may never work out. In fact, it's very likely that it won't. No, like I said, the weird thing is, and you know this, I've done podcasts in the past. Podcasts are fun. I think it's neat that people have the ability to go out there and talk into a microphone and let people decide if they want to hear it or not. I've done some in the past, and they were fun to do, and eventually I was just beaten by the whole routine and having to have something to say. For some reason or another, it may be the 2 guys that I do it with. These just flow very naturally, and it's just truly sitting down for an hour every week and talking about what's going on or whatever is on our mind. And I think it's okay. So if you want to check it out, we would love to have you do that and hear what you think. But either way, I'm going to keep doing it because I like it.
Well, I'm glad you're back on the podcast saddle, because I remember my first awareness of you was way back in the baseball do days. What was it, 2010, 2011 when you guys started that?
Yeah, I think that was right around, probably first big playoff appearance for the Rangers. So, yeah.
Yeah, you've been at this for a long time, and you're a seasoned veteran.
I am a very good third wheel on any podcast, so if anyone's hiring, I cannot edit. I can't do anything important as it relates to technology, but I can talk into a microphone, and I can even email you stuff if you need me to. Like, I'm very good at that, but outside of that, I have to leave it in the experts' hands like yourself.
Well, see, you're smart enough to be the third wheel on a 3-man podcast. I'm the third wheel on a 1-man podcast.
Oh no, Bob!
That is not a recipe for success. But
Bob, how dare you?
we're having a good time.
We're having fun.
A good time. Yeah, we are. And I'm not being trite when I say that.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
So where all can we find Human Dads? Are you on Spotify, Apple?
Google, everywhere. You can go to Costco and get a copy of it. I think they hand them out when you walk in.
Kind of like the old AOL CDs. They'll just give you a CD with
exactly
Human Dads on it.
Yeah, you can find us on the Vegas Strip. We're handing them out to tourists. No, we're on iTunes and Spotify. And if you search Human Dads, you're going to be able to find the podcast somewhere. And like I said, it's really fantastic, if I do say so myself. Despite me.
I agree. No, I agree. You're the draw.
You think so?
Yes, you're always the draw, Jason. Whether it's podcasts, Twitter, wherever, people gravitate toward you. You are the son of the social media universe.
See, this is the payback for the voice comment earlier.
I should edit that in. The video of me cussing out the parking meter at Fox 4.
It's one of my favorite moments that we've had together, I think.
Oh, yes.
We should probably explain. We were going to Fox 4 to meet with Mike Ducey and be on the air, and this was our big moment. And we had parked downtown. And for those people that have been to downtown Dallas, that's not the easiest thing in the world. You were simply just trying to put money into a meter like any good citizen would. And
feeding perfectly crisp bills into a machine.
Perfectly crisp. some of the crispest I've ever seen, and they would not accept the bill. And at some point, a man loses his cool. And
well, I'm sitting here thinking my big break of appearing on Mike Ducey's Sports Sunday was slipping away. I mean, this is before Free for All. This is back when they had a half hour, and
it
was
a big deal. Yeah. So I just happened, because I know what a star you are, to pull out my cell phone and hit record, and there's video floating around out there of Bob going completely nuts,
floating around,
going
available
nuts.
at any time.
I've been kind to you lately, though. I keep it.
You have, and I appreciate you. Let's learn a little bit more about Jasen Southward, especially about your own personal musical journey. And we're going to play around with something I like to call, is that your vinyl answer?
Oh, this is exciting.
Records are made of vinyl. You see
right. And vinyl, like the game
like
show.
Kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You remember that? There used to be a game show. And Regis Philbin, who's no longer with us, was the host. But anyway, so...
Moment of silence.
Stay hard, Regis. Jasen, what was the first record you remember buying with your own money? No doubt at the Richardson Square Mall.
Yeah, very likely at the Richardson Square Mall. I remember this very well. The first record I ever got, I didn't buy it myself. I got it as a Christmas present. Was a Green Day CD called Dookie.
Oh yeah, that's their big hit.
That's their big hit.
The original one, yes.
The original one. That was all wrapped up for me by my parents, who no doubt were reading what they were buying, or had to walk into some, music store and ask for a copy of Dookie.
Yes. I would like to buy my son some Dookie. Could you please help me find the
Dookie? Did not get past me in the moment. I very much enjoyed that idea. So that was my first CD, and I wore that thing out. I listened to it nonstop. I was a big Green Day guy. But I wouldn't say that shaped my musical taste one way or the other. I have a very wide range of musical taste, Bob.
Yeah, as do I. But I will say I still enjoy Green Day.
Me too.
Even today. I think they don't get their due. They're solid, good old rock band.
Yeah, I agree.
So what store at Richardson Square Mall do you think your parents picked that up at? What were the big record stores of the day back then at Richardson Square?
Man.
I assume that's where it was, because I know you went to Berkner, and it's like basically across the street from there. So
it is. Yeah, I worked at that mall. My first major job was at a sporting goods store called Oshman's.
Yes, Oshman's.
Built into Richardson Square Mall. I would walk over there after school and throw on my red polo shirt, my khaki shorts, and sell people shoes at the Oshman Sporting Goods. Love that job. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what music store. Wasn't there a Castle?
Camelot?
There was one of those in Richardson Square Mall. I could be wrong. My memory is not great, but probably there. If not there, God knows.
Do you still have that CD by any chance?
It's funny you should ask, because I was going through the process of cleaning the garage not long ago, and I did come across the CD case. The CD is long gone, but I found the case with the insert and everything, and I kept it. Also found a Michael Jackson CD case. It was the big one. I know. Are we allowed to like Michael Jackson still? I don't know.
I mean, at the time, you didn't know. It's,
no,
it's fine.
Right. Yeah, it's not like I was buying Jeffrey Epstein CDs or something. It's Michael, King of Pop. So I found the CD case, but otherwise, I'm not a big sentimental guy. I don't keep a lot of stuff around that, just for that particular value, but I did find it. It brought back some good memories for sure.
Which band or artist's albums do you own the most?
So when I was growing up, my uncle, who was not much older than me, my mom is the oldest in a big family. So my uncle is not, we sort of grew up together a bit. He was a drummer in a band, so very musically inclined and a big music fan. He was really into The Who and Pink Floyd. My other uncle, who's not much older, is a huge Rush fan. So I grew up around that stuff. And my dad, when I was growing up, had a bunch of records. Big fan of Yes and Genesis and Phil Collins, stuff like that. My dad's a bit more mellow, obviously being an older guy. So I listened to a lot of that. But what I really started getting into were the Beatles. I know that's a cliche answer because everybody says they love the Beatles. But I love the Beatles because my uncles were sort of on two sides of the Beatles. One's a Lennon fan and one's a McCartney fan. They would battle a lot, and I would hear them arguing about who was better. And so I got big into the Beatles, and I own a lot of Beatles records. I think I probably fall truly in between. I really love Paul McCartney. I saw him live when he played at the ballpark.
Oh,
what
really?
was that, 2 years ago? Yeah.
I heard that was a great show.
It was a fantastic show. Blew my expectations out of the water, which is saying something. I love Paul, but John, amazing writer, and wrote some fantastic songs. I like all of them. Big George Harrison fan. I like his stuff he did by himself. So I would say probably, as I think back, I was a kind of weird kid. I didn't really get into more modern music until much later on. So probably the Beatles.
Perfectly good answer.
Yeah.
And I think we've definitely had others who have shared that same one. Which Beatles album is your favorite?
I'll tell you two that I like. Let It Be is, I think, just a beautiful album. I think there's a lot of great music, but Sgt. Pepper, I think, is really poignant, and a lot of songs on there that are so well written. And I really dig when the Beatles got big into drugs. I think they got really good as they were, dropping acid and stuff and writing music under the influence. So I like them both for different reasons. Which one do you like, Bob?
My favorite is probably Abbey Road. But I don't know that there's necessarily even really a bad Beatles album. Some days I love the White Album. Some days I love Revolver. Sgt. Pepper is great. Let It Be is great. But for me, I think it's Abbey Road. That's my go-to.
There's one you just go home to, isn't there? When it's time, you go home to Abbey Road.
As much as I love the Beatles, I'm more of a Stones guy than a Beatles guy. And I'm actually more of a Who guy than a Stones guy. But so your uncle, thumb up.
You guys would get along great. Yeah, he loves the Who. I love the Who too. I mean, some of my favorite music. Like I said, he was really into like a bunch of English, British rock music, and I love that stuff to this day. I think it's all fantastic. I love the Stones. I mean, Sympathy for the Devil is probably one of my favorite tunes of all time. When that song comes on, that gets me. So I'm a big fan of all that stuff.
It's got an extra energy to it. Like,
man, doesn't it?
It's just that and Gimme Shelter. Some of their songs are just like, there's something extra in the air beyond just the music. I don't know what it is, but
it's like a weird vibration when you turn these songs on that just like your energy gets up, but you also, it's kind of heavy. It is. They're heavy. They're heavy songs, and I don't really hear much of that anymore. I don't want to sound like old man, but you don't hear as much of that anymore. At least not that hits me in the same way. And maybe that's just because I have a different set of. I'm more worried about my hot water heater breaking than whatever kids think about. I can't even come up with a good analogy, but you understand what I'm saying.
I totally get it. We're bound by day-to-day issues and not minutia. Is there any particular album you've either had to replace the most or just own the most copies of in multiple formats?
Man, that's a good one. And the only one I can think of that I bought multiple times, it was just weird and off the wall, was a Tori Amos record and I can't even remember the name of the record anymore.
Is it the one where she's breastfeeding the tiger or whatever?
I don't know. It's the one with Bougainvillea. Oh, what is the name of the song? I can't remember. It was just I think it won some awards. It was just really good. At the time, I have sort of leaned into female singers over the past 20 years or so. There's a lot that I like, whether it's Jewel or her, a lot of really great female singers out there. So that was one I remember buying multiple times because I think I lost one copy and then one fell out of my car in some weird after hours situation where I had a flask in my car. I don't know.
Struggling.
Yeah. Tori Amos.
Tori Amos, that's good. Hey, do you ever watch Bob's Burgers?
I have seen an episode or two of Bob's Burgers.
Look up a YouTube clip. Just type in Bob's Burgers oil spill. You will enjoy the Tori Amos parodying that ensues.
Sounds good.
They're at a food truck festival, music festival like Foodapalooza or something, and there's a fake Tori Amos grinding on the bench. It's just the funniest thing I've seen.
This year, Tabitha Johansson is headlining the concert.
Tabitha who?
The sexy pianist.
She sings that song about oil spills, but she's talking about her vagina.
Jane, how do you know that?
It's not subtle.
It really isn't.
Oh, it's hot and wet and sick, and it's making everybody sick. Oil spill, oil spill.
Ugh, you were right. It's not subtle.
See?
Well, I'm sure she would be honored to know that is the first thing that pops in your mind.
Well, that and breastfeeding the tiger.
Right. Equally as good, I think.
Well, at least she showed us how well you feed. I mean, we needed to know that.
We did. We didn't even have to ask.
Now, who among your friends and family would you say has the largest vinyl collection?
Oh, definitely my younger uncle Mike. He has an incredibly impressive collection of vinyl. Still, he has the milk crates. He's got probably 5x4 worth of records that he's bought, whether it be half price or it's absolutely.
So if you had to ballpark his collection, it's probably in the hundreds, I guess.
Oh, would have to be. Yeah, no question.
Nice.
And he is sort of the person that got me into vinyl. I love it. The sound that comes from an actual vinyl record, nothing beats that as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why. I mean, I understand that I'm missing out on a lot by listening to it that way. And when it's remastered and everything and you hear it in your stereo headphones, it's a different experience. But I just love the way it sounds when it comes off of a record player.
Yes, I totally agree. Very warm sound. And I recently, a couple years ago, got a turntable and started rebuilding the vinyl collection that I no longer had because thought I would never need the records again and needed to build up the CD collection. That was not a good idea. Not a good idea. Bad decision, Coach.
You had to go buy them back from Half Price Books at twice what they gave you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So how many are you up to now in your vinyl collection?
I have a very small collection because I did the same thing you did. I sort of switched over to, and I did this with DVDs too. I thought, oh man, we're in the electric age. I'm going to get all this stuff on my iPod or whatever the hell I carried around back in the day. So I got rid of a lot of that stuff. So I only have very few select. I think I have a Hendrix record. I got a couple of Beatles still that I've saved for obvious reasons. And I even have like a Michael Jackson.
Are you actively adding to your collection or?
I haven't. Although I have multiple times as I've walked through the halls of Half Price Books thought, I just got to pick this one up. I mean, I don't even have anything to play it on at the moment. I also got rid of the record player. I don't know, man. The art and just, I don't know. I love everything about it. If I had a good place to store them and I had a nice way to sort of display some of that stuff, I might just buy them just to have. I like them that much.
It's really more of an empty nester hobby. I will tell you. Like when my kids were younger, it was just not a conducive environment for many reasons to have vinyl. But now that they're older, it's like, okay, this is something I can do now that I'm older and more boring and can just sit around the house now. This is better.
Like I said, my dad had a bunch of vinyl and had a record player when I grew up, and it was all stuff that he liked, and it was all pretty mellow. He loves Yes. Genesis was a big player in my life because he had so many records of theirs, and I think Peter Gabriel's great, and I like that sound. So yeah, I think that eventually I'll get to that point too. I'm with you. I just don't have enough space in my house that's not taken up by like Baby Yodas and some form of Barbie situation that I can put that stuff, but eventually I can absolutely see myself going back.
Is there any particular record store that's your favorite that you like to go into or that you did in the past that was one that you enjoyed perusing? Or
I am a big Half Price Books guy, and I know that there are much cooler record stores around Dallas, and I've been in them. I always feel like I'm not cool enough to be in those places, to be perfectly honest with you. There's a certain level of cool that you have to have, and I'm not cool, as the great Philip Seymour Hoffman said in Almost Famous. We're not cool. I think Half Price Books is neat for me because it is sort of like a little treasure hunt. You kind of flip through and find stuff sort of hidden behind other records, and nothing's organized well, and it's all relatively inexpensive. It's got blemishes and corners are torn. I like all that stuff. I think it just adds to the story of the record to me. Like, how many people have owned this and played it? What did it mean to them when they played it? What might they have been going through when they listened to this song or that song? I love all this stuff. I think that's the really cool thing about vinyl is a lot of times when you buy it, most of the time when you buy the stuff that I'm listening to, it's been through God knows how many other people. And I think that's neat.
Yeah, it's like a living historical document. And sometimes you'll find names of the owners scrawled on the back or inside the sleeve, or there'll be something in there that they left in, maybe some sort of a note or something. It's really cool.
It is. I love it. Maybe I'll write some stuff in a record, and so someone will find it in an old Half Price Books in the year 2029 if I'm still around.
Oh, you will be. You will be. I won't, but you will be.
Oh God, please.
I won't see Christmas. I made this Christmas, but next Christmas is dicey.
Well, if you can make it, but you have to clear it. That's what's important.
Yes, I do need to clear it. I did clear this one, I've got that going for me.
Yes, you do.
Jason, give us the socials for Human Dads, yourself, anything you want to share as far as Twitter, Instagram, any accounts you guys have?
Yeah, we don't have, this is how dad we are. We don't have necessarily any Facebook accounts or even a Twitter account for the podcast itself, but you can follow me on Twitter if you like, and I will post the episodes. I'm at Baseball Do. Bob mentioned it. That was like our podcast back in the day when we cared about baseball. Sadly, it's taken all the joy away from me. 2011 hurt a lot, Bob.
It did. It did.
So
Bob, does it hurt? Does it hurt? And I will say, Jason, honestly, you are one of the nicest people on Twitter.
Oh, stop it.
Folks, please follow this man. He's very kind, very nice, very warm, engaging. Only one time has he ever made anybody mad on Twitter, and it was over making fun of a plate of nachos. So we're not going to reopen that can of salsa, but I will just say,
well played. I've learned my lesson on that. But yeah, if you'd like to follow, and I'd love to chat with you about whatever. And then I should mention Brad, who is really the glue that holds the podcast together. Fantastic dude, 2 kids, used to be a comedian, so he is great on the podcast, keeps things running. He's actually 2 Kolsch, which is the number 2 KOLSCH. And
like the beer?
Exactly like the beer. He's a massive beer snob, loves beer. If you ever want to talk beer, definitely talk with Brad. And then last but not least, Rylan Rowe. At Rylan, RHYLAN ROWE. Rylan is probably one of the smartest people I have ever met in my life in general. He knows a lot about a lot of things, and he is another great guy. So I'm very lucky to be carried by both of those dudes. So if you listen, make sure to follow them as well.
Well, I definitely am a fan of Human Dads. Great podcast, fun listen.
I'm a fan of yours and your podcast.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And the dulcet tones of your amazing voice. You have a great radio voice. Somebody hire Bob, please.
Yes. Well, I mean, I have a job, but
for
it's
like the radio
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm pricey. Nobody wants me. So,
oh, buddy,
you get younger and cheaper everywhere. Jason, I really appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And hey, man, grease the wheels for maybe me being able to have Brad or Rylan on at some point. You know,
absolutely.
We do love to have folks from any of the podcasts, especially here in DFW, try to support each other. And we'll talk to you again soon. We gotta get together. I haven't seen you in forever, man. We gotta,
as soon as we can, let's hug.
Yeah, and we still need to do that Garland area happy hour. We had kind of bounced around.
Absolutely.
Now that you're back in the land of Gar, or semi. I mean, you're technically uptown Richardson, upscale Richardson.
It's very fancy. Very fancy.
It's a Garland in name only. I'm legit Garland. I'm like hardcore hood Garland. But
that's Garland is. Can I just plug Garland for? I know that's weird. I'm plugging Garland.
Yes.
Garland is becoming a very cool city. You have a very cool podcast with music, and I love your podcast because I think it's much cooler than I can be. The music you talk about is fantastic. But Garland is cool in this way too. They are expanding the square that they have down here. There is some great food over here. There's just some cool places to shop. There's a really cool
Intrinsic is great.
Intrinsic is amazing barbecue, and there's like a vintage clothing store. I don't know if you've checked this out on the square. So come to Garland. I'm not even getting paid to say come to Garland, but come to Garland.
Yes. Come for the freak, stay for the food. I mean, you pay Garland taxes, right?
100%.
I claim to, so maybe they'll find out one day. No, I definitely do, and I fight the increase every year. So far, so good. All right, buddy. You have a good one. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye, lardass.
Bend and Scoop is a production of Lukewarm Tallboy Studios.